Good morning, this is Developing Stories on Osrc Television. My name is Blessing Obe. Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has declared that security is non-negotiable for Ondo State's prosperity, inducting 500 trained Amotekun recruits at the State House of Assembly Arcade Complex. The governor said no society prospers in fear. No economy thrives where lives and property are unsafe. Aiyedatiwa called the Batch 05 personal parade symbolic, strategic, and historic boost to the state's defenses, evoking memories of his late predecessor, Rotimi Akeredolu. The governor praised the Amotekun Corps as disciplined, ideologically sharp operatives ready to protect farms, forests, highways, and homes. He said their comprehensive training covered physical endurance, tactical operations, intelligence gathering, interagency cooperation, human rights, rule of engagement, and Omoluabi values, ensuring strength with restraint. He urged them to be courageous yet compassionate, firm yet fair, vowing support through better logistics, equipment, intelligence, and welfare.
It was deliberate, comprehensive, and uncompromising. I am aware you were exposed, among others, to physical conditioning and endurance training. I wish to enjoin you as officers responsible for maintenance of order, security, and rule of law, which is the first point agenda of our ease policy cross. Now you must not only be strong in body, but also sound in judgment, disciplined in conduct, and restrained in the use of authority. Let me state quite clearly, the strength of Amotekun does not lie in brute force, but in professional restraint, intelligence-led operations, community trust, and the sanctity of the Omoluabi ethos.
The Amotekun commander welcomed the inductees as law agents designed to complement federal agencies like the police and army against banditry, kidnapping, and other farmer clashes. Adile emphasized discipline and protection, warning of sanctions for misconduct. The event drew the speaker, lawmakers, council heads, traditional rulers, security chiefs, and top officials. President Bola Tinubu has charged the National Assembly to begin the process of amending the Constitution to incorporate state police as part of efforts to tackle the nation's security challenges. Tinubu, who described Nigeria as extremely challenged by terrorism, banditry, and insurgency, said the constitutional amendments has become imperative to enable the country secure its forests from bandits and free children from fear. The president's appeal comes barely 3 days after he made a similar promise to state governors during an iftar dinner on Monday, where he vowed that the establishment of state police would not be postponed. He called for unity among political leaders in confronting the nation's challenges, emphasizing that terrorism and banditry requires a united front. The president also credited the National Assembly for supporting his administration's economic reforms, particularly the removal of food subsidy and the unification of the foreign exchange markets. Women from the Central and Northern Senatorial District of Ondo State are set to benefit from the World Bank-assisted Nigeria for Women Program Scale-Up Project. No fewer than 60,000 women across 2 council areas are expected to be empowered to contribute meaningfully to their households and communities. Omori Olangbeji reports that 3 local governments, Ilaje, Akure North, and Akoko North West, are championing the first phase of the exercise.
The project implementation team embarked on an advocacy and sensitization tour to Akure North and Akoko Northwest local government areas to intimate stakeholders and women on the benefits of the World Bank Assisted Nigeria for Women Program Scale-Up Project. The state project coordinator, Dr. Jumoke Bakare, addressed grey areas during an interactive session with the women, giving them the opportunity to ask questions and gain further clarification on the implementation process.
So nígbà tí wọ́n parí ní 2023, 2024 wọ́n wà ìjọba báńkì àgbáyé wá tún sọ pé nàìjíríà wá pé ètò yìí máa dára ní ìpínlẹ̀ mẹ́fà tá a ti ṣe o ẹ jẹ́ ká tẹ̀síwájú.
Dr. Bakare emphasized the importance of active participation in line with laid down guidelines, including the formation of women affinity groups and adherence to other project requirements.
Tí ọkọ̀ obìnrin bá ti gbòòrò sí, tí ọkọ̀ obìnrin yẹn balẹ̀, a lè ṣe kí ni a lè ràn ọkọ̀ lọ́wọ́. Ẹ̀yin ni number 1 o, àwa fẹ́ lọ ṣiṣẹ́ fún yín báyìí.
Dignitaries from the benefiting local governments lauded the initiative, noting that it would positively impact the socio-economic development of their communities.
Seize this opportunity to thank the team for making the effort to come out to our local government to empower our women. Women are the rock of any development. Program yìí máa ṣe wá lẹ́nu ìjọba. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí gbogbo wa tó lóbìnrin àjọpọ̀wọ́sowọ́pọ̀ lórí program yìí láti àwọn èèyàn wá sí
The Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Dr. Shim Osamaye, represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Mrs. Olusheyi Odushola, urged the women to properly organize themselves in accordance with the project guidelines to maximize its benefits.
You are presenting 1,200 groups. So consider opening a center and being
Dr. Osamaye also commended Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa for paying the counterpart funds that enabled Ondo State to participate in the empowerment program. Stakeholders expressed optimism that the program will not only strengthen women economically, but also enhance community development across the state. Omoniola Mbiji, Osrc News.
To other stories now, President Bola Tinubu has approved the extension of the ban on the exports of raw shea nuts for another year, from February 26, 2026 to February 25, 2027. The approval signals the administration's continued push to boost domestic processing, deepen value addition, and strengthen Nigerians' industrial capacity within the agricultural value chain. The presidency explained that the policy is designed to expand Nigerians' shea processing capacity, improve livelihoods in producing communities, and promote exports anchored on value-added products rather than raw commodities. The president also approved the adoption of an export framework established by the Nigerian Commodity Exchange and ordered the withdrawal of all existing waivers permitting the direct export of raw shea nuts. The latest extension indicates the government's resolve to sustain the restriction as part of broader efforts to reposition Nigeria from a raw material exporter to a competitive hub for refined and value-added agricultural products. Organized labor in the Federal Public Service has issued a Friday ultimatum to the federal government to release funds to settle 3 months outstanding wage award and other pending allowances owed workers in ministries, departments, and agencies. The leadership of the Joint National Public Service Negotiating Council warned that failure to meet its Friday, February 27, 2026 deadline would compel the 8 unions in the civil service to take decisive action. The wage award dispute, which has lingered for over 2 years, followed the federal government's approval of a 70,000 naira minimum wage after the removal of fuel subsidy. Labor leaders said while partial payments were made after sustained pressure, 3 months remained unpaid since July 2024, creating growing tension within the federal workforce. Warning of looming industrial unrest, the unions declared that if funds are not released by the deadline, the national leadership would take appropriate action. And that's developing stories on Osrc television. Thank you so much for watching. Good morning.